I don't know whether you can see this, but this is the frog that belonged to my great uncle Harry Sue, who's a chief. But when he was a boy, he used to have this frog. It was taken away when the natives were arrested for potlatching, and so it was like they would be sold off to a lot of these artifacts. And well, some of them were returned. Some of the ones that were sold to the States can't be repatriated, so this is in a museum somewhere, so I have no access to it as a family artifact. So I'll read a quick quote. I remember a big carved wood frog displayed at my father's potlatch that I really liked as a little boy. The fun of seeing this frog is my first memory in life. That big frog was bought by a collector from the stuff that was being taken away from our people so they couldn't potlatch. We want those things given back. And the name in Kwakwaka'wakw is Wakus, and so I'm going to read this poem, which is it's to the city of New York and its native inhabitants, and asking for the frog back. Ah, great Lenape, lend me your tears for but one commercial break. Giant Menete, kindling Mahatua, rocking Mannahatta of sad-eyed ladies and Chelsea mornings. Most of all, Mahahatanienk, stumbling home, forgetful of your cares and inherited memories. You're almost listening, Lenape. Common people, the real people, riparian people. We, the people, since 1794 have crossed the 49th, perhaps faster and more frequently than even literature. And since I have heard of beefed-up madness in that cattle-prodding process, otherwise known as homeland security, to use the Haudenosaunee term. And yes, I do have an unflagged book in my Eskimo's duffel bag carry-on. I would love nothing better than to observe the gray Hudson billow, to unbutton my shirt and play coy reading, playing a metaphysical Whitman-esque rough. But Mannahatta, I have a frog in my throat. Technically your throat, darling. Why, my great uncle would watch it stand upon a cradle and hear it whistling all by itself. But then a preacher man came bustling in with fire and brimstone and laid waste to the peaceful islands of the Kwakiutls, which had hitherto fructified with rivers of syrup, and put an end of their feast of elephant tusks and unicorn horn, and taught them women were actually rib bits, and stole their sacred regalia, and took that singing frog with a mission, just like that evil wizard in Lord of the Rings, since the frog was magical, and whosoever cometh upon it, yada yada, was written into those glassy eyes, etc. But then a character in the state of York, known as the Custodian, hulkishly tore open his tailored shirt and rippled into the limo and flung his chauffeur from the roaring, nay, soaring vehicle because he had an inch of weirdin or a wallop of feminine intuition or what all you want to call it. And it was swell and all was swell, and he drove across past the sun and landed his wheels more tanned than mink or Phaethon as he bent the preacher of men to his will, for he had the gift of the blab. What is more, the frog had sung to him, "Take me home to great Menete." And the preacher was a smite slow, and his eyes were full of masks and coppers, and lest we forget his big-ass mission as a custodian, veered back into the cirrus clouds. Now I, from the land of this is my village, will remain unbearingly polite and taciturn, only to tap you upon your fair shoulder, Mannahatta, to say that frog that bore witness is part of my family, and haunts my dreams like one of your incredibly tall sexual thrill boards, the height of a Trojan horse. Can you not hear it croaking? Deep in the financial district, beneath a horizonless horizon, the frog whistles for a babel of cabs, homeward bound with its own finger-lickety tongue, while upon a lily Basho weeps. First we take Manhattan, then we take BC. Ah, Mannahatta, I can't stay mad at you. I love your addictive friendliness, your multiplicity of hawkers, your street-walking scenes, your possibilities for opera, your provocative amnesia, even your teeming museums. This is only a trial separation with a lingering custody issues since one nippy night in 1922. Shh, don't cry, Mannahatta. It won't be for long. You can even keep your Vermeers. Just give me the frog and no one gets hurt. Okay, I'm just going to read one more.